What's your goal? Is it to have big muscles and look like a bodybuilder? Or is it to be quick and powerful to have functional athletic strength? Well, if it's the latter, then you're not going to want to do all your holds and those slow, isometric, eccentric contractions in the beginning of the workout. What you want to do is things that are quick and powerful. And that means barely warming up just enough so that you're loose enough not to hurt yourself. Every set you do, as a rule of thumb, always you control the weight. It doesn't control you, right? But the major thing here is you want good speed, forces mass times acceleration, and power, right? So if you're doing that first heavy set that now, you're warmed up enough for so that you're not going to get hurt, and again, you can control the weight. It's not too heavy that you can't. If you could say get 7 reps as your PR, you figure, and you take that weight and you go down and you're doing squats and you hold it at the bottom, then you go to get up, you might barely get up for the first one. Is it harder? Of course it's harder. Is it more functional? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That would be if you wanted massive legs, right? Now that's different. And you can get these massive muscle groups with doing athletic, functional, quick, powerful type workouts, and at the end doing all those slow eccentric movements, those isometric holds and things like that. But both ways of working out are great. It just depends what your goal is, right? And maybe your goal is going to change halfway through the year. Who knows? But if your goal is to have good, functional, athletic, powerful, translating to on the field strength, you're going to do a minimal warm-up, just enough to get everything loose. For example, if you're doing legs, you do leg swings. You move that muscle group through the range of motion slowly and then quicker, until it's elastic enough now without static stretching, which you never do, which would be the equivalent of, say, standing there and touching your toes, because that decreases performance and increases the risk for injury. You do that, and then you get right into your working sets if you can. You get right into your working sets, okay? And you're careful on the first few reps not to just jerk around. You never jerk and you never let the weight control you. But in the beginning, if you want a little bit of both, this athleticism, functional strength, plus a bodybuilding type physique, do that stuff in the beginning, and at the end, work out like a bodybuilder. At the end, do your curls, relatively lightweight, and just go real slow. Real slow. Now the thing is, these are doing a lot more for you at the end of the workout because you're already tired. If you did that same weight in the beginning and you tried that same principle, it wouldn't do nearly as much for you, right? But now your muscles are exhausted to the point where this is going to promote growth. You've passed that threshold where now this has become difficult. So then, Shane, why wouldn't I just do that weight heavier in the beginning and do the same thing? You can if you want to work out like a bodybuilder. That's what it comes to, right? But if you, same type of exercise, you could even look at it curls like that. And I know arms is, you're like, that's not as much of a functional thing. Sure, it can be. You have that 135 bar, you're not ever, but you can give a little, in the hips to help push you, just like you would do, say, a power clean. I'll put my hand through the ceiling if I go up. But you can apply that to any workout. Hope you got something out of that. That's what we got for you guys today. Take it to the bank with you. I've had great success trying to mix both. But in the beginning, you definitely got to do the explosive stuff. That is just true. Or else you're going to be so tired that at the end, you're never going to be able to get that weight and you're not going to be able to move it with speed, right? Everything is so tired. The lactic acid has built up. You're just exhausted. And that'll do you. So have a great night. Thanks a lot. Happy wellness. Let's see what we got on here. Say what's up to the homies. What up, Mel? How you doing? Freebird Phoenix. You got Melanie, what's up? Hope you're doing good. It's been a long time. 1992, Alex. George's Knackow. Shane, hell yeah, my man. Reaper of the Dead, not by coincidence, Stefan. What's up, you guys? Hey, that's my man Malcolm in the house. How you doing? Great seeing you today, man. Have an awesome time in Miami. I'll see you before that. Rowdy Narajo. Judith, what's up, Rhonda? Danny, the OG. I love you, Danny. I'll say it every time. Ormo Watson. Gabe Chimento. And Claudio Favere. Always on here. What do you think about holding a deep squat for multiple seconds? I was saying in the beginning, Dan, that's good if you're looking for hypertrophy. The more that bodybuilder type workout, yeah, it's great. You'll gain a lot of strength, but if you want to have functional strength, if you want to have power, perform well athletically, right? That doesn't kind of translate to how you'd be moving something on the field, right? Like on the field, you don't sit there and hold yourself down and then go. It's not as functional, right? But it totally depends on the goal, and there's nothing wrong with working out like that at all. You can look amazing and work out like that. And, in fact, it's recommended, right? If you're purely just going for aesthetics, right? A lot of those holds, a lot of those deep motions, and we still get full range of motion here, but we don't mind. It's not sacrificing form, but we don't mind breaking the rules a little in the sense that, we'll shorten the rep to get the speed and power in the beginning of the workout. And then later, when there's no weight on the weight belt and we're doing weighted pull-ups, instead of going to 3/4, because we want to save the elbows in the beginning and so we can come back quick. We don't want to come down and hang and waste energy, or come down and hang and jerk and hurt the shoulder. That's why we don't do it with heavy weight in the beginning. Then at the end, when we're light, we'll come down. We'll sit there. We'll come up. We'll come down slow. Things like that. That's where you get a little bit of both. But order is everything. You got to make sure you do it in the right order. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah, Dan. Arisadam. Full-time torque. What's happening? Jose Nene, Berlin Bad, Michael I, and Stefan Apple Blue. Have an awesome rest of your night, folks. That's all we got for you. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Right here. And I don't know when, but we'll be there. Have a great night. Happy wellness. Thanks. Gotta go eat.